What's going on, y'all? It's Sebastian from the 13th round here, and happy fight week to everybody. We're going to be talking about Sebastian Fundora versus Keith Thurman. We're going to be breaking down the whole card, giving some picks and predictions. Let's get right into it. First off, we got Elijah Garcia versus Kevin Newman. Elijah Garcia is a 22-year-old prospect coming up, trying to put himself in title contention. He's coming off a win against Terrell Gausha in a fight I think he lost. Terrell Gausha is also on this fight card. We'll talk about him later. He's taking on Kevin Newman, a well-respected guy. I've seen him and Andre Ward get in the lab together. But for the life of me, I could not find a recent fight of his. Could not do it. Could not do it, bro. But when I looked up his boxing rec, it kind of all made sense. He's been fighting cab drivers for like the past 6 to 7 fights, bro. But from what I have got seen about Kevin Newman is that he does struggle with pressure fighters, which is like worst case scenario for him in this fight. Elijah brings good pressure, constantly going to the body in a crazy gas tank. But one thing about Elijah is that he's always in entertaining fights. I do have him beating Newman in a very entertaining fight, probably by UD. Next fight we're going to talk about is Yoenli Hernandez versus Terrell Gausha. The way people talk about Yoenli Hernandez, they talk about him like he's next up at 160, and they talk about him like the division's already his. Given it's one of the weaker divisions in all of boxing, but I do see that. I do see that. Given his Cuban style and his highly decorated amateur past, and the fact that he's worked with Canelo Alvarez and Team Reynoso, he looks extremely refined despite only having 9 fights. He's fighting Terrell Gausha, an American decorated amateur who's been a solid pro so far. He's fought a lot of good fighters and given a lot of them good work. Like I said, I thought he beat Elijah in their fight. The thing with Terrell is that he has a tendency to take rounds off and not let his hands go. But when Terrell does let his hands go, he has an extremely good jab and he's extremely accurate as well. I do have Yoenli winning by UD. But if he was able to stop Terrell, that would be a statement because nobody has been able to do that so far. Next fight we're going to be talking about is Yoenis Tellez versus Brian Mendoza. Tellez is an up-and-coming Cuban boxer. He has good combination and very good accuracy. He's taking on the tough Brian Mendoza, who has a KO win over Sebastian Fundora. This is a very good matchup, and I think both men need a win here. Tellez before his last win lost to Abbas Barao, and Mendoza prior to his last win lost to Tim Tszyu and Sergey Boyachuk, which now looking at it, losing to Tim Tszyu,
kind of some nasty work.
You know, like, how good was Tim Tszyu really? I know like that Fundora fight took a lot out of him, but still, like, losing to Tim Tszyu is not a good look in the big 2-6. Tellez is kind of the heavy favorite going into this fight, but if Mendoza could put him on the ropes and go to the body, I think he can stop him late. I really do. I think he could stop him late. But if this fight goes to distance and Mendoza can't put him on the ropes, I think Tellez can make this look very easy. Fuck, man. My final prediction, I'm going to go Mendoza, 11th round stoppage. Fuck it. In the main event, we got Sebastian Fundora versus Keith Thurman. We got Giraffe Boy, Harvard student Sebastian Fundora taking on a balding Keith Thurman in the big 2-6. Not sure how I feel about that. Actually, I know how I feel about that. I don't like it. If this was prime Keith Thurman, I would lean towards Keith Thurman because he throws the same exact punches that Fundora has trouble defending, which are looping hooks because Fundora stands tall. I mean, he doesn't really have a choice, but he stands really tall on the inside, and he's too willing to fight on the inside. But this is an aging Keith Thurman who's battled inactivity and injuries throughout the last few years. I can see Fundora getting hurt in this fight, but the most likely outcome is that he will stop Keith Thurman. I think in the 8th or the 9th round, he'll stop Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman has always been kind of soft to the body. He's been hurt to the body multiple times, and I think Fundora could actually expose that. But after this fight, bro, I need Fundora to go after the big dogs. I'm not doing a fucking another Chordell Booker. I'm not doing another old-ass Keith Thurman. If I dare him to fight Earl Spence. I dare you. Zayas, Boots, Virgil. You pick, tall motherfucker. And just because that fight's also this Saturday, let's talk about Jermaine Franklin versus Moses Itauma. Moses Itauma is probably the brightest star, young star that we have coming up at heavyweight. And he's taking on the extremely durable Jermaine Franklin, someone who's gone 12 with AJ in his prime. That's very impressive. I don't think he's ever been knocked out. And I'm a little hesitant always when a UK boxer's coming up because, you know, like, so many times they've been fraud checked and, like, we just forget about them. Like, it happens all the time. But I like to think Moses Itauma is different because even Frank Warren, who's been in boxing for 60 years, has said, like, this is one of the most talented kids I've ever had in my stable. And I don't think that's just promotional talk. I believe him. Itauma has all those tools. He's very fast, very light on his feet. He kind of moves like a welterweight for such a big guy. The real thing that can make me a believer for Itauma is that if he stops Franklin. If he stops Franklin, that will legitimize him for me. I do think he wins a decision. I don't think he stops Franklin because he's very durable. But if he does, he's here to stay for sure. That's all for me. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I want y'all to send this to a friend who might enjoy the video. I want y'all to like, comment, subscribe, and peace out. I'll catch y'all in the next video.